Hello. Okay, let's just adjust this whole thing. Can you hear me? How does my hair look? It looks good. I haven't done this in a while. Man, I forget how much fun it is and also how very much of a mirror this whole thing is. Welcome to Draw With Me instead of with Danny. I'm really happy to take over today from Danny, and because he is on vacation, and that I can tell you is well deserved. So I'm really happy that he went anyway, even in spite of the whole anxiety and yeah, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of unknowns, but still he stepped on the plane, in the plane, whatever. He got on the plane and he is having a good time, and I'm happy for him. So he doesn't have to show up here, although I know that he really enjoys doing the Draw With Me's every week. And but I'm really happy to do it today. So as you know, for Draw With Me's, we are using the prompts list, which is the 101 drawing ideas. It's like a mouthful. And you can download that. So if you haven't done that yet, you can get that at freedrawingprompts.com. And then you get that emailed, or you can actually just simply download it and you can print it. It's actually also designed to be the background of your phone, if you like that. So anytime you need an idea, you can just look at the list and use it. So that's fun. And you can take whichever number that is on the list. But today I picked something that is kind of fitting my taste for caffeine. So I picked number 33, which is Draw Your Coffee Maker. And I love coffee. For me right now, it is a little bit too late to have another cup of coffee. I've had enough today already. And also, well, as I am heading into the evening soon, I think I'm good. So I do have my cup here, but it has herbal tea in it, so that will keep me calm instead of sweaty and kind of anxious. Because I'm always a little bit nervous when I go live on YouTube. But you're all here, and I'm really happy that you're here. I feel embraced by the warm community over here. The list, Gail, is at freedrawingprompts.com. That's where you go, and then you just fill in your email address, and the rest is, I wanted to say history, but it's not yet, it's future. But the rest, just, it's easy. Yeah, you just follow the steps. Hello, Martha, Charmin from California, Linda, you have your coffee, good for you, Laura, Luz, and I see Joanna there. Renee from Amsterdam, we're close, that's fun. Ali, Bo, ST, Janice, I see a lot of really great people in here, and a lot of people or names that I recognize, which is fantastic. So shall we just draw instead of talk? I feel like drawing, so let's do this thing. Let me swap over to this one, and I need to readjust. Oh, then there's also the thing that I can show my face at the same time. Is there? Oh, I haven't done this for such a long time. I forgot. And then there should actually be a way that oh damn, I should have, you know what? We'll just do it this way. Should have prepared better, but I was busy doing other stuff. So anyway, this is important. My face isn't. Although thank you, Joanna, for saying that my hair looks great. I also had a manicure today, by the way, especially for you. Today I am using, of course, a fountain pen because my mind is all on fountain pens. And you know why, right? It's because of the fountain pen workshop that's coming up. I'm just going to click this away so you have full view. Fountain pen fundamentals, which is a fantastic workshop that is coming up. It's our very first live streaming event, so I am very excited about it. And if you want to join, then go to sketchbookskool.com/workshops and sign up. There's limited enrollment. You're looking at a white space right now. There's limited enrollment. Hello. So don't wait too long if you want to join. It'll be so much fun. It's our very first online live streaming event, and we're all very excited about it. So if you want to join, that would be fantastic. It would be like a YouTube experience like this, only 10 times better, 250 times better. So, okay, let's draw our coffee maker. So I have been thinking about this since I picked that coffee maker topic. I've been thinking, how can I do this? Should I just draw one big coffee maker, which I actually did with this one on the iPad, but I don't want to. I actually want to fill a whole page with the many coffee maker coffee making methods. So I have water-soluble ink in this pen, so I can use also this one, and then I don't need anything else, but I can create a lot of tone. So this is a water brush. So there's water in the handle, and then it's easy to add a little bit of water. So that's what I'll be using, and let's just get started. So the first thing that I think it's kind of the first thing that pops in my mind if I think about coffee makers, I'll just start at the top here, is like one of those, it's not called a percolator, but I think it's in Dutch you call it a moka pot. Not sure what it is in English, but I'm sure someone in here will know and will tell us. And I think it's always like, so I'm doing this from my imagination because I am in the studio and I don't have a coffee maker here to draw from observation. So I think this is it's like this shape, kind of like so. Does that make sense? Oh, and there's a handle as well. I used to use this a lot when I was a student. And now actually I hardly ever make coffee with this because in our household there are so many other really great ways to make coffee. It's kind of crazy. We are the coffee snob family. It really is crazy. So the benefit of that is that I have a lot of ideas to draw coffee makers. So I'll just add a little bit of hatching to create a bit of depth to this little drawing. In the meantime, I will look up and see if people are saying things. Yeah, exactly. Maria is saying, I call this an Italian espresso pot. I think that is very suitable. Yeah. Italian espresso pot. Yeah, mocha pot, but it's not mocha that, well, I don't know. I don't know why it's called that. Maybe that's not the official name anyway. And you don't want to be in Italy right now either, so yeah. Let's leave all that for now. So that's my first little drawing, and what I can do now, will do now, is use all these little ink lines and give it a little bit of a painterly effect by adding just a little bit of water. Look at that. I like that. I like this method too, because if you make any mistakes, you can just sort of wipe it away with the paint. You can, or with the water, and paint with the ink. Well, that kind of works, and I can pick up a little bit of ink here to add a bit of shadow too. And here, and I'm careful not to touch the edges too much, so that it doesn't like bleed out completely. We can actually do really nice, tiny, detailed things with it. I like that. So that's my first drawing. I kind of like it. So that's my metal Italian espresso pot. Ah, see. Oh, here. Morgan has actually looked it up. Of course she does. That's what Morgan does. So apparently this is the moka pot, moka, and it's named after the Yemeni city of Mocha. Who knew? Ah, well, I'm glad that is solved, that whole mystery. Okay, so this is the coffee maker that is like a really good iconic shape. Now I really want to also draw like an espresso maker, but I really don't even know how to, from imagination, how to draw an espresso machine. So I am going to sort of make it a little bit easy on myself. And I'm just going to draw, again, I only know the Dutch word for this, and maybe it's the same in English. In Dutch you call this the piston, so that's that handle with that you fill with, oh, it's really hard to talk and draw at the same time. The handle that you fill with espresso, ground espresso, and then you put that under into the, whatever it's called. You know what I mean. You see what this is, right? Help me out here. Anyway, I can also see that Karen is asking what ink I am using. I'm actually using a black ink that comes with the Lamy. No, it doesn't come with the Lamy. If you buy a Lamy, you get a blue cartridge with blue ink with it. But I just ordered a box of cartridges with black ink in it. I kind of like the ink. It's nice. Yeah, as you can see, if you add water, it dries up grayish in many shades, which I think is really good. So you put the espresso in here. This is the espresso. You can see that is espresso, right? Espresso ground, freshly ground espresso beans from my imagination. Those beans sprouted from my imagination. And this is metal. Let's add a little bit of shadow here. And then this is like a kind of a hollow part, and then the espresso seeps right like out of here from two of those spouts, or whatever you want to call it. And then you create a double espresso, or two espressos, whatever you like. So let's add a little water here too. Thistle, you know who says that she loves the purple color of the Lamy inks? I've never tried it. I've only tried the blue and the black. And I am kind of I'm a little bit addicted to waterproof ink. So I have all kinds of waterproof ink. Mostly for black, I like to use carbon black ink, platinum carbon black ink. And also Vietnamese. I think that's a great brand too, and I like the ink that they make, the black ink. And I also have the red and the blue, and I have some green. I have a lot of colors from Vietnamese, which I hardly ever use except for the red and the blue, and that I don't even use that often. I stick to black mostly, sometimes gray. And the gray that I use is from Sketch ink. I think the brand is Rora und Klingner. I don't know if I say that right, but it's a German brand. If you Google Sketch ink, you'll find it, and they have a nice gray ink, which I like. Okay, I'm just fiddling around here because I'm talking and drawing at the same time, but I kind of like my little espresso piston. No idea. Janice's favorite color of the Lamy inks is turquoise. I like turquoise too. It's a good color. Okay, one of the slow brew types of coffee is, of course, the very, well, simple but always good method of pouring your hot water into a filter. And then you put that filter on top of your mug or on top of a thermos. That's the paper filter in there. Let's also, here there's also, freshly ground coffee beans. A light roast, I think. I might need a coffee after this. After all, just, just thinking of coffee and talking about coffee so much, it just makes me want to sip some. Also, did you know that people always think that espresso coffee contains a lot of caffeine, but actually filter coffee like this contains a lot more, because the coffee and the water sit together much longer. So the caffeine is, there's more caffeine in there. And with the espresso, the water is pushed with very quickly pushed through that, I don't even know how to explain, but it touches the espresso, the espresso coffee for just a really small amount of time, and that is why it has less caffeine, even though it might taste stronger. It is not stronger in caffeine. How about that? Is that new to you, or am I just telling you something? You're like, hoo-ha, yeah, I knew that. Let's add a little bit of gray here, just a little bit of painting. I'm really careful because I want to keep those lines here, but I can make these a little bit vaguer, perhaps. Yep, I like it. That's enough. Let's leave that. On to the next one, because I know a lot of other methods still. One that a lot of people use too, I hardly ever do it, again because, or not again, actually I hardly use it because it has a lot of caffeine in it too. But I love the method, which is the French press. It's like a glass pot. It's pretty straightforward, I think. Something like so. And then it also has a handle, maybe something like this. And then you put the coffee in here, and how does that work again? You know what, so you put the ground coffee in here, you pour water on it, and then you press this thing down. You press the filter down. But you know what? Maybe I'm not actually drawing the filter, I'm just drawing the coffee. There you go. It's the surface of the coffee, and then the coffee is right in here. Ooh, fresh coffee to go with a French croissant, maybe, and some fruit. I'm making a mess here. And that's the great thing about the using that water-soluble ink and painting with it. It doesn't matter how messy it is, because I can now just really move this whole thing around a little bit. And then you don't even see that I was just scratchy this whole part. Okay, there you have it. Maybe add a little bit of gray here so you can see the reflection of the glass. Does that make sense? Kind of. A bit more depth here. I'm not using that much water. I use a pretty dry brush, and I kind of like that. Gives me a bit more control. This is nice. It's okay, I think. French press. Oh, sorry, Gail has to leave, but I'm curious to see what you will post later. This will you know who is also a coffee snob. I'm glad I'm not alone. Oh yes, Vincent, thank you. The technical term is the thingy. I don't know for what, but it is the technical term for sure. Okay, what else? So these are like the basics, and maybe I should try and draw one of those coffee makers that a lot of households have in many shapes or forms. So, and I have, I have practiced it on the iPad with a yellow coffee maker. And it's really good to draw from observation to learn to, to remember, sort of. It's like you have a library in your mind of shapes, because when you draw something from observation, you understand better the shape, and then it's easier to replicate it, but from your memory. So I know that at least the coffee maker that we have, which is a Moccamaster, which I love because of its shape, and it reminds me of my youth, 70s and 80s. And we also have it in a really gorgeous color yellow, which I love. I think it has like, it's kind of like, it has a texture, or it's ribbed. And then there's this, the bottom is like this, and holds it all together. So this is where the water goes. And that is like heated up and then sent here, and then it drips into the filter. This is the filter holder, which also has a handle, and it has this shape with lines, and then it drips into the coffee pot, which is right underneath here, and that sits on a heating plate, heater, heating surface. Yeah, so it's a coffee, and then of course there's a handle, so you can easily pick it up and fill your glass or mug. I like drinking my filter coffee from a fancy glass. Is that strange? But I also like it from a mug. But we have all kinds of mugs, but I like using one of the mugs that I inherited from my grandparents. And I think it was like, it's a kind of a branded mug, like the OXO brand, like soup brand or something. So I think they got it for free. And now for me it has a lot of value, which is really strange, but also fun. It's like has historical value, but of course for me it was my grandparents' mug, and I used to drink hot chocolate from it when we visited. So that's fun to drink my morning cup of coffee from that mug. There's 2 switches on there, 2 buttons. Yeah, I think that's a coffee maker. It's pretty good resemblance. Okay, let's move on. Give this a little bit more dark color. How's everyone doing? I haven't looked at the questions yet because I'm totally obsessed with my coffee. Let's see. Yes, Vincent also has experience with that brand, Sketch Ink. I think it was actually really made for like urban sketchers, people who draw on location, because as Vincent says, it dries really quickly, and that of course is really handy when you're on location. So I think that's the reason, but I can be wrong. I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next one, because otherwise we'll be here all day, and you might want to just drink your coffee and get along with your day. Okay, so Ne Gonzalez is saying that the ink of the Lamy fountain pens is waterproof. No, the Lamy is, yeah, as Holly says, Lamy is not waterproof. So if you want waterproof ink, then you have to buy ink that is suitable for fountain pens. Otherwise you will use the wrong kind of ink that will clog your pen, and then you can just throw it out, which would be such a shame. Alrighty-o. So you know, there's this other really great coffee method, which is I think it's Vietnamese. Is it Vietnamese? Yeah, it's Vietnamese, I think. So it is like a metal, kind of a cup shape, something like this, and then it has a lid on it with a sort of a handle too. Not sure what it looks like again. So, and there's a handle to that metal cup, and it's a bit like this. I think it's actually the same as this, only I think the ground coffee is different, and it might sit longer, or maybe it's stronger, but it's a bit like using a filter like this, only I don't think it uses a paper filter in it. So you put the coffee in here, and then it drips into your mug or your glass, that you put under it, which would be something like so. Let's do a glass, because you know what they do? So this is so awesome. So they fill like, I think, a third or something of the glass with condensed milk, which is so sweet, so sweet. And then on top, the coffee drips on it, and you stir it, and it becomes this milky, creamy, very sweet drink, which, yeah, is just like a sugar bomb. They know what's nice. They know what's good and naughty as a coffee. So that's your Vietnamese coffee. I think this is kind of what it's like. Okay, let's do one more, or maybe two more. Okay, so Corinne says, oh yes, oh Renata, yes, for Vietnamese iced coffee. Yeah, true, but they drink it warm too, but you can put ice cubes in it, and it's so good, even better to have it cold. And Corinne says, my fingers got inky and smeared the paper. Doesn't matter, just smear along, right? I'm actually surprised how clean my paper is. So there's this other method that I really like, which is called aeropress. You might know it. It has this, it's kind of a weird plasticky thing that goes in a few parts. It's made in a few parts, and it goes like this. It goes on top of your mug. Here's the mug. And so you put your coffee your ground coffee in here, and then on top you pour water, and you mix it a little and you let it sit for a bit, but this goes on top, and it has like this rubber thing that closes the whole thing off. And then after like a few minutes, you push this down, and that pushes, there's a filter here, and that pushes the coffee right into, a little bit like espresso, because you need a lot of pressure for it, and it pushes the coffee right into your mug. And that is like a really quick and really great way for coffee. But I also know that it is a little bit dangerous too, because if this tips over, there's like a lot of hot water in it. And I know people who had some sort of aeropress explosion adventures in their kitchens, right, Morgan? I know Morgan has done it a few times. I have too. I'm a little bit afraid of the aeropress. I sometimes make it, but sometimes I just request an aeropress coffee, and then my husband is so sweet to make it for me, and then it tastes even so much better, right? If someone makes it for you and puts the mug in front of you, it smells so good. Oh, love it. Okay, one more, and then I'm done for today. And Natasha is asking what size nib I am using. This is, I had to look at it, this is nib B. So that's a broad nib. I didn't tell you, so you didn't miss it. So, good question. Okay, one more coffee maker is this guy. That is the guy who knows exactly what kind of coffee I like when I go to the coffee place nearby, here, sort of around the corner. It's a tall Dutch guy with a West Frisian accent, which you will know if you live in the Netherlands. He's really nice and he's cute, and he just knows my order, which is fantastic. So, ooh, that's not his neck, but it is his neck here in this drawing. And I love that. If you know, are a little bit, you have some strong habits like I do and preferences, and people might actually remember what you prefer. So that is another coffee maker. I don't know his name actually, and I don't think he knows mine. Now you know how I like my coffee too. A double Americano. Double shot, please. Just for that extra kick. I also like cappuccino. On and off, actually. I don't always like the milkiness. Sometimes I need some of that creamy milkiness, but I mostly like coffee because of the big punch it can give. Nice and strong and black. Okay, those are my coffee makers. And I hope you have been drawing along with me. I'll give him a little bit of a stubble. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this actually. So let's see if there's any questions. That was a really fun, meditative bit of coffee art. All right. Yes, so Morgan says, my husband spies coffee splatter on our walls and says caffeinated Jackson Pollock has been here. Yep, it happens. We also have a wall that is just splattered with coffee. Also because we have this espresso machine, and that piston. Still don't know what the technical term is. So the thingy, you have to like tap it off, so the coffee puck is coming off, and sometimes if that is still a little bit wet with coffee, it just splatters to the wall, which is beautiful. It's just a beautiful brown pattern, always changing with every coffee you make. Right? What is the water brush you are using, please? Says Visionaires. Well, this is a Pentel water brush with, I think this is a broad brush, so a big brush, not the small brush. I think that's too fiddly, so that's what I use. Charmin, I am so glad you enjoyed drawing with me. I think this was really fun, and I hope Danny goes on vacation soon again, so I can take over again. No, kidding. It's much more fun with him, I think. I have a really hard time talking and drawing at the same time, but I think I did well, so that's good. See if there's anything I missed in the comments. Corinne was running out of ink. Sue has said that she was chatting with the neighbors over her sketchbook and told the neighbor about Sketchbook Skool. Yes, spread the word. That's good. Holly says, I'm finding it challenging to use my fountain pen on my mixed media backgrounds. Anyone know of a tip that works better for rough surfaces? I don't know if fountain pens are so great for mixed media because of the rough surface. I mean, I also have a tough time using fountain pens on like very textured watercolor paper, for example. I think the broader nib works better, but yeah, it doesn't really flow that well. And I think on mixed media, that's even more the case. So maybe you should not try and use your fountain pens on it, but something different. That might be a tip, but there might be mixed media people in this group here who have better tips than I do. Let's see, I don't think there's urgent questions in here. So yeah, I am super happy that you wanted to draw with me today. I had a lot of fun. I might make one last espresso for the day just because, you know, I feel like it, but maybe I don't. So I hope you have a fantastic day. Post your stuff, post what you make, what you made on social media or on the schoolyard, of course. If you post it on social media, use the hashtag SBSDrawWithMe and also hashtag Sketchbook Skool so we can actually see what you made. And if you're in the schoolyard, post it there too, because I want to see all those different coffee makers from all around the world. It'll be fun. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.